Good evening, dear friends. Welcome to day 86 of a poem a day for 2026. It is Friday. It's Friday. Friday. Gotta get down on Friday. And I'm finished for the working week and I am very relieved. I've been to the office. I am home. Hence, a little bit of sparkle in my ears. They're skulls. They're iridescent skulls. And a little bit of makeup. I felt like I was very tired this morning. So I was like, let's fake it till you make it. And I had a chance to wash my hair yesterday. So, thankfully, with it being considerably shorter, it's much easier. It's then just trying to find where to part the fringe. Still trying to get the hang of things. Tomorrow I will be attempting to straighten it all for the first time myself since having it all cut. I guess you'll see how that goes, either on tomorrow's video or Sunday. I hope that you have all had a good day. And if you have the weekend free, I hope that you are gearing up for a fantastic weekend. Whether you have zero plans, whether you have a weekend jam-packed full of loveliness, adventure, whatever it may be. And if you are working, thank you for doing the things, whatever field you work in. You are obviously providing some sort of service, so thank you. I would like to make an apology. I realised yesterday after recording, and as everything was uploading, that as I went to move my page marker, my little ribbon, that there were two more stanzas to yesterday's poem. Turned over the page and went, oh, raspberries. So I have two poems for you today, yesterday's and today's. Excuse me. So we'll do both of those today in their entirety. I am not, however, going to apologise for my somewhat low mood, because low mood happens. As somebody who lives with depression, I experience peaks and troughs. Things have been relatively alright so far this year. But yeah, the nature of the beast is up and down. And I saw that I'd had a few comments on yesterday's video or recently. So I'll review those this evening when I have some downtime. Thank you for people reaching out. But yeah, I will admit that not having received as many views or any views over the last few days was a bit of a hit, emotionally, mentally. But we push on. I've set myself a challenge to do this every day, as I have the book. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm looking forward to sharing all of these with you, to sharing more things with you, and just seeing what we can do. So, right, to yesterday's poem, which, if you will recall, was I Remember by Thomas Hood. We will forego the blurb and get straight into it. I remember the house where I was born, the little window where the sun came peeping in at morn. He never came a wink too soon, nor brought too long a day. But now I often wish the night had borne my breath away. I remember the roses red and white, the violets and the lily cups, those flowers made of light, the lilacs where the robin built and where my brother sat, the laburnum on his birthday, the tree is living yet. I remember when I used to swing, where I was used to swing, and thought the air must rush as fresh to swallows on the wing. My spirit flew in feathers then, that is so heavy now, and summer pools could hardly cool the fever on my brow. I remember the fir trees dark and high. I used to think their slender tops were close against the sky. It was a childish ignorance, but now 'tis little joy to know I'm farther off from heaven than I was when I was boy. That definitely makes more sense with the whole piece. I have full body goosebumps up the back of my neck, and I can feel them crawling over the goosebumps moving across my head and down my face. That's quite an experience. Beautiful. Yeah. I would like to move on to our piece for today. Curiously named. Make sure we do have 2 pages together. Oh, covers nearly 3 pages. So this is Ballad of the Bread Man by Charles Causley, and our blurb reads as follows. Charles Causley was a 20th century Cornish writer, as popular among the celebrity poets of his day as he was with the readers. He counted Siegfried Sassoon and Ted Hughes as close friends. The Ballad of the Breadman even, is a modernised telling of the life and death of Jesus. Even the 3 wise men appear as a bishop, a general, and an African leader. Though it begins in comic fashion, it ends on a very different tone. And the final stanza reveals Causley's own view of the modern attitude towards spiritual knowledge. Jesus returns from the dead, only to find that the public still has no interest in his message of peace and morality. Causley lived through the Second World War and may have had those experiences in mind. So this is Ballad of the Breadman by Charles Causley. Mary stood in the kitchen, baking a loaf of bread. An angel flew in through the window. "We've a job for you," he said. God in his big gold heaven, sitting in his big blue chair, wanted a mother for his little son. Suddenly saw you there. Mary shook and trembled. "It isn't true what you say." "Don't say that," said the angel. "The baby's on its way." Joseph was in the workshop, planing a piece of wood. "The old man's past it," the neighbours said. "That girl's been up to no good." "And who was that elegant fellow?" they said, "in the shiny gear?" The things they said about Gabriel were hardly fit to hear. Mary never answered. Mary never replied. She kept the information, like the baby, safe inside. It was the election winter. They went to vote in town. When Mary found her time had come, the hotels let her down. The baby was born in an annex next to the local pub. At midnight, a delegation turned up from the Farmers' Club. They talked about an explosion that made a hole in the sky. Said they'd been sent to the Lamb and Flag to see God come down from on high. A few days later, a bishop and a 5-star general were seen, with the head of an African country in a bulletproof limousine. "We've come," they said, "with tokens for the little boy to choose." Told the tale about war and peace in the television news. After them came the soldiers, with rifle and bombs and gun, looking for enemies of the state. The family had packed up and gone. When they got back to the village, the neighbours said to a man, "That boy will never be one of us, though he does what he blessed well can." He went round to all the people, a paper crown on his head. "Here is some bread from my father. Take, eat," he said. Nobody seemed very hungry. Nobody seemed to care. Nobody saw the God in himself, quietly standing there. He finished up in the papers. He came to a very bad end. He was charged with bringing the living to life. No man was the prisoner's friend. There's only one kind of punishment to fit that kind of crime. They rigged a trial and shot him dead. They were only just in time. They lifted the young man by the leg. They lifted him by the arm. They locked him in a cathedral in case he came to harm. They stored him in as safe as water under 7 rocks. One Sunday morning he burst out like a jack-in-the-box. Through the town he went walking. He showed them the holes in his head. "Now do you want any loaves?" he cried. "Not today," they said. Wow. Wow. That's I feel like that's a really not only interesting but a powerful take on the story of Jesus of Nazareth, and of Mary and Joseph. That just, and when I read the title, that's not what I was expecting for the Ballad of the Bread Man. I was expecting something quite whimsical, but actually that was, and appropriately so, very serious. Yeah. No, that was great. As I've said before, and I will undoubtedly say again as we work through these, I don't follow a faith. I am probably at most agnostic. I don't think that what we do here on this mortal plane is all there is. But I am deeply intrigued by philosophy, and I think the faith is a beautiful thing, as I've said. And I have friends of varying faiths and religions, who are practicing of those religions. And yeah, I think it's important to be respectful. I think that's going to have me. I think I'm going to be thinking about that for a while. Yeah. Thank you, friends, for checking in, for being here, for commenting, for any sharing you may do. It's all appreciated. You are appreciated. Always. Yeah. I am going to go and fuss my cats. and try and push through the decision paralysis of what to have for dinner. Yay! Thankfully, with only a few days before payday, there's not much in, so there aren't too many choices. Silver lining. Okay, friends. Until tomorrow, I wish you a very good